gentlemen, welcome. Listen, we're going to jump into the episode right now with Melissa Diaz. Dun, 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 dun. But I had to hop on first just to say we experienced a technical audio error in this podcast. Our microphones weren't getting picked up. The audio you're hearing is just from the camera. It's not our normal fancy audio that we have. I apologize to Melissa Diaz. I apologize to Evan Lopez in the past. Future Evan is so sorry. And I apologize to you, the listener. Okay, this is below me, okay? I pride myself in production value. So just know that's what's going on with this episode. It's a great conversation with Melissa Diaz, a very funny East Coast comedian who has moved to Austin. You'll get to know her and learn more about her. You can check her out at melissadiaz.com, and she plugs her social media as well in the end of the episode. So without further ado, the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's episode. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast. Today, we have a treat for you. Joining us today, we have Melissa Diaz. I don't know why I added an accent to Melissa. Melissa Diaz.
Well, that's because I think every Latino has like a Spanish Tourette's deal going on.
Yeah.
Where just from our upbringing, we don't know how to switch to like just exclusively Anglo style.
Yeah.
So it's like Tourette's, right? You'll just kind of be like, hey, you want to go to the store and get like an empanada?
Yeah.
And everybody's like, what?
What was so cool about going to college in Puerto Rico is my name went from like a boring ass Evan to Avon. And I was like, that was the dopest thing ever.
You went to college all 4 years?
I went 3 years.
I went 3 years there?
Yeah.
I went 3 years high school in the Dominican Republic.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How was that?
Hey, man, a lot of reggaeton. A lot of reggaeton. Yeah, it was like peak 90s, and I was like at the right age, right when it was really
That was
hitting.
the greatest era of reggaeton.
Yeah, man, it was crazy. Yeah, a lot of perreando, a lot of,
Did you live, or were you born out there, or you just randomly like, let me just...
I grew up in the Bronx, but sending your kids to DR is just a thing that Caribbean parents do. I mean,
it's like
I think Puerto Ricans do
send,
it too. Yeah, it's like when they send their kids to the country, you learn values. But then you get over there, you just smoke meth and go to the beach and skinny dip and shit.
Doing that in the Dominican Republic, what did you learn over there? Were you like, all right, I need to...
What did I learn over there?
Yeah.
How to sneak boys into my room. Didn't learn anything good. I mean, the one weird thing was going to school. The math is more advanced over there.
Really?
It's like a full grade or two ahead of everybody else here.
Why is that?
I mean, but I've talked to other people, and it seems like that's just a thing around the world, that Americans get taught math like way slower than everybody else.
I wonder if that's the same thing with like India just having like the telecom game on lock, like just different parts of the world just dominate different arenas. You know?
Well, we're dominating stupidity. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's pretty much. TikTok is just taking us down quite a bit.
I mean, TikTok, I think, is going to take everybody down if you're not careful, because that's like an insanity machine.
Yeah, it really is. It'll just show you everything you don't want to see or don't even realize you want to see, and then just keep constantly.
What's popping up for you?
I don't even want to say it on here.
It's a little embarrassing.
I'm going to get some knocks on the door.
For me, midgets and bikinis. I don't know why.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know. I think I was willing to watch a couple of videos of adjacent to people with disabilities or something. Next thing I know, I got twerking midgets.
They're like, it'd be like
pop
this.
Up every once in a while. Yeah,
it's like that.
Okay.
Mine is actually dominated. I had to go through and be like, we got to change this algorithm for the sake of my relationship, because it was just getting like titty balls all the time, and I'm like, is everybody's TikTok titty balls? But now it's like sad dog videos where it's like people. There's so many niches that other people don't realize is on TikTok, and one of them is the sad dog niche. Yeah.
Do they ever bleed into each other, like titties airbrushed to look like sad puppies?
Dude, if we keep going the way we are, that's what's going to happen. It's just a blending of all your things that stimulate you.
Yeah, it's going to be insane. I mean, what I want to know is like, what are we supposed to be doing sitting there watching and consuming? Are we supposed to just be like jacking off and like shoving hoagies down our throats? It's like, is that like the economic model? And then we're just also watching TV and we're just like, what is that?
That seems like that literally just captured our society and where it's
monsters. Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. So is it true, now that I have someone from the DR or who lived there, that in the prison systems there was no bathrooms and you couldn't, that was always the thing, is that people had to deal with their own plumbing in the prisons, and like people would have to bring the prisoners food, like the families had to support you.
In the Dominican Republic?
Mm-hmm. That's what I heard.
Well, I'm not going to say no outright. I'm not sure because I never heard of that.
You were hanging out
while I was there, but I wasn't. Yeah, that's not.
That wasn't your industry.
Yeah, I mean, hey, some people in high school want to look for boyfriends there. I chose not to. Yeah. I wanted to go to the Dairy Queen. Whatever, do whatever you want. And so I never. But I did hear. I mean, the Dominican Republic has a lot of corruption.
Yeah.
Corruption at the level where the people that live there, just to get by, I think they just develop like a really healthy sense of humor about it.
Yeah.
And a really robust sense of humor in the face of just police in your face asking you flat out for money while they pull you over. Cops there will pull a person over and while they're driving, and then say, you may have been going over the speed limit unless you buy me a Coca-Cola right now.
Just a Coca-Cola, they're just a little parched.
Yeah. It's so rampant that they don't even need your money all the time. Sometimes they just want a bag of chips.
Wow.
They just pull you over for that.
They just see you eating with a bag in your car.
They don't see anything. If they just see that if you have a car, it means you got some money, right? If you have a rental, that means you're a tourist. That means you got a lot of money, as far as they know.
Yeah.
It's just it's pretty crazy. So people are very cynical over there.
Yeah.
And everything's just kind of like a joke, and they're just like, look, here comes this shit now, And the cops walk around with like AKs.
Yeah.
Straight up, like we don't have police the way people understand it here, where there's this clear separation of police and military. Mm-hmm. There is none. The police is the military. Yeah. They kind of bleed into each other,
That's a lot like Puerto Rico when I was in
Puerto Rico is very similar. Or the Caribbean in general, I think this would resonate with a lot of people in the Caribbean. Yeah. Because it kind of is like that. Yeah. It's not like, I mean, the fact that the police force is like that isn't necessarily a symptom of the corruption. I think it's just a small island. Yeah. But the corruption is a part of everything, the culture, and it's a lot of money under the table, a lot of bribery, and it's so ingrained in the system that it's just kind of like a part of life.
It is crazy, yeah.
Yeah. So the fact that the police, the prisons would be like that, where maybe people have to bring something for people to take a dump in. Yeah. Maybe I could see that. Yeah. But they also have they have plumbing. And where they don't have plumbing, they do have outhouses and holes on the floor, like other places in the world, like shitholes, basically. That's literally where the term shithole country comes from. Yeah. Is that you have holes for your shit. If you're a country that has holes for your shit, that's where that comes from. And I remember living at the hospitals. That was another big joke, which was like the big joke there was like you didn't want to go to the public hospital. Yeah. Like you see people with like hatchets in their backs just like trying to crawl out of the hospital, That's a joke, but Dude. That didn't really happen, but that's kind of like what people would say.
Yeah. I went to nursing school in Puerto Rico, and being in the psych wards there and just like the craziest hospitals, I was like, I would never want to get sick here. It was like Shutter Island times 10, where it was just like the darkest things, the weirdest like malpractice. Dude, I saw a guy stick himself with a needle when he was about to stick it in a patient, and it goes, When I went to go grab another syringe, he was like, dumb. And I was like,
okay. Like, don't worry, I just have AIDS. No big deal.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah, man. It's, did you get involved in any of the dark island magic there when you were in Dominican Republic?
Yeah, but like, it was a weird, okay. Yeah. I gotta give you some backstory, which is basically just that my grandmother kind of advertised herself as a witch.
That's cool.
Throughout the entire Trujillo dictatorship. And it was just a good way to kind of work in the military. She basically worked for the military as their professional tarot card reader.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and it was a good way to like be safe because soldiers are usually kind of stupid people. They're not known for the brain power, you know? So they tend to be superstitious. And so she basically took advantage of that and just kind of set herself up as a person who had like powers so that they wouldn't mess with her. Because back then it's like, I mean, I don't know how much you know about that dictatorship, but it would be like, the guys would literally be sent out in like cushy limos and stuff to go to the barrios, like the poor areas, to pick up chicks for the military. And so if somebody picked your daughter, he was like, that chick, love her tits, you know? It's like, for them, the barrios were TikTok. They'd be like, those tits, those tits, those tits.
Girls just
give me that sad dog. I like that midget twerking. Give me that one of them. So then the guy would come by with the car, and it's like, if you got the knock on your door, you have to just let her go. Because otherwise they would kill you or something, or ruin you. Maybe they wouldn't flat out kill you, but they would definitely like, you know, like you'd lose your job, you'd lose your home. And so it was just like a choice. It's like, what are you gonna do? It's like, well, I'll see you later, you know?
So did she have any kind of actual experience, or was like, maybe I'm a little spooky, like I'm kind of magic, or was she just like, let me just pick up this, like she just bought a kit at Toys R Us and was like, let me just start hustle?
I got this secondhand from my mom, but it seems like what happened was a woman in the neighborhood who had a reputation for tarot card reading and witchcraft tutored my grandmother and took her under her wing and taught her everything that she knew, which was basically like high level bullshit.
Yeah.
That's, you know, that's what that business is.
Yeah.
And it's you took psychiatry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was in nursing school, so we did, we studied it a little bit, like we had a semester on it, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like you're taking advantage of mental illness a lot of the time, and or people's insecurities, right? And then you get a feel for how to do that. It's your profession. You get good at anything you keep doing, right? So you just learn to read people the right way, and you can get through a tarot card reading by just asking the right questions. The more you do it, the better you get at it. You know? So she got pretty adept at that, and she became like one of the military's tarot card readers.
And like, what year was this?
1970s.
Okay.
Maybe, or so.
If you were going to be like 2009, that was going to blow my mind that there'd still be like in the military, like she's getting W-2s for this position.
That'd be awesome. I mean, I'm sure there still are people that work with like adjacent to the military, maybe word of mouth, but not on that level. Yeah. I don't think anymore. So. And
you moved back from the DR in what year? Like when you graduate high school, you moved back, or?
Yeah. Oh, actually, I didn't finish. I brought up my grandmother because you asked me about witchcraft.
Oh, okay, right,
yeah,
right,
sorry.
right.
So from that kind of gave me the confidence to be like, yeah, I want to, you know, I'm the daughter of a fucking witch.
It's in the blood.
Motherfucker, yeah. Because I was, 15 years are stupid. So I also watched The Craft, like that came out around the same time.
That'll get you.
And that's like every 15-year-old girl lost their shit with The Craft.
Yeah.
It was just like, what? We can do that? So we're just like, we could just get a bunch of girls together and like have powers.
That's so dope.
Yeah, except that doesn't work that way. You just get together as a bunch of girls and just be cunts, and then eventually you break up. That's kind of the story. That's the real story of The Craft. Yeah. But I did at one point while I was in DR, I went to this market. There's this public market that tourists go to. Everybody goes there. It's in the Colonial District. And I would go there sometimes to buy like little witchcraft books and things like that. So stupid. And people there are more religious than they are here. Mm-hmm. Hypocritically, but they are. Mm. And I remember a couple of times me and my friend would just go, like buy, I don't know, like a whisk in a book and then walk away. And then some guy would yell at us like, "Don't do it! The devil will get you! Don't do it!" And like, "Shut up, you old man! We're fucking turning you into a fucking plantain." Fuck with us, right? Just go and do witchcraft. But I was only there for 3 years, and I came back to New York City, and I finished high school over there.
What was the transition of being like, I'm out here doing witchcraft, and now I'm in New York just being a regular kid again?
Well, it just didn't happen.
No.
I wasn't a regular kid again. I mean, it was like...
Yeah, I'm still a witch.
yeah. I tried to find a little coven.
Yeah.
When I was over there.
East Coast, yo!
Yeah, and I found 3 girls who were like, yeah, we do fucking witchcraft. Because I went to high school when I came back in Chelsea Piers, which is this area. It's all just new age magic with a Y / queer / scenester kids from the 90s, you know, with the green dreadlocks and all that, and the platform shoes. It was just like this big milieu of just weirdos, basically. Yeah. And witchcraft was a part of the whole thing, of course.
Wow.
So, but it was also dumb. I mean, it was high school. We didn't really do anything, but we'd light candles and they talk about boys or whatever. One of them fucked my brother, and then that was it. So.
What a witch.
Yeah. What a witch. Dang. Indeed.
And, wow. Okay. And did you go to college or did you go straight into stand-up?
I did not.
Those are the only 2 options. Did you go to college or stand-up?
I went into the College of Drugs and Alcohol for about a year. And that was a choice. Yeah. I graduated from high school very shit-kicker-ish. Like I didn't very low achieving, no ambition. Yeah. Just very nihilistic. I just graduated and just kind of like, I'm just gonna get fucked up until I figure things out. And I did. I did a very good job of that. Got very fucked up. And then I joined a Puerto Rican folk fusion band, and I sang professionally for like 8 years.
It's the tightest sentence I've ever heard in my life.
Oh, I've said it a lot. Because it's a weird thing to have to explain. You get concise about it.
What is that?
Well, I thought you would know because I saw this bamboo over here.
Oh, hell yeah.
Do you play this?
That's actually, I made that when I was like 9 years old, and it's sadly a piggy bank.
Oh, it's so a piggy bank.
I mean, I bet someone could play it.
That's used as a musical instrument.
I didn't even know it.
With it, well, you know,
Put it on eBay tomorrow.
Folk music is so like, you could use anything.
And it's gonna be like that.
That's not what, that's called that would be called a qua. If you, with the, you went to Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Bomba and Plana band, basically.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, but they fused it with like some, like, you know, Jibaro music and a little bit of jazz, bluesy kind of American influence. And so it was a pretty popular band, you know, because...
How did you even get in that? Did you have a history of singing?
Well, I had a history of singing. I was a pretty good singer since I was a kid and all that. But it was just kind of random. I was just looking for kind of more interesting genres of music. Yeah. I'd go to different concerts and check them out. And then one day I checked out this band, and it just so happened that the founder of that band was friends with my dad. So just through that connection, he was like, "Hey, you want to come and sing?" And then I was like, "Yeah, well, I'm literally doing nothing else with my life right now." So, and so we did that, and I toured with them for a while.
Where did you tour? Like,
we did off Broadway venues. We toured all around Puerto Rico a few times.
So awesome.
We did a lot of colleges because the music was folk music. Yeah. So a lot of like Puerto Rican college groups would hire us, you know, because it's like roots music, and it was a lot of fun. It was pretty cool.
Wow. And how long after that were you like, let me try stand-up now?
I don't know. That took me a while to get around to, and I don't know how else to say this, but I didn't for most of that time understand that you could do stand-up. I don't know if that makes... I mean, I know that makes no sense. My family had always been really into stand-up. They'd always have VHS tapes that...
Oh, it seems so foreign, like barrier to entry. You're like, nah, you can't just try it.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that's for late night people or something. I don't know. And that's for those guys. And I thought they went to some school or something. I didn't even think about it logically. I was just like, oh yeah, we don't do that. We don't do that. That's, I don't know, a caste system of those guys, right? And but then I found out that you do that, right? You go to an open mic or whatever. I was like, oh, okay. And it just stayed in the back of my head for a while, and then I slowly kind of built up the courage to try it, and then I did, and I bombed my tits off, and then I was like, that was amazing. I'm gonna do it again. And that was
really? You bombed? And you were like, I'm gonna do that again. That was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't good. I knew that, but it's the most fun I've ever had on stage, and I've been on stage, as a musician. I've tried acting. I've tried other stuff, but stand-up really clicked with me.
Yeah. How nervous were you your first time because of all the other experience?
Oh, well, I think the other experience helped me not get too in my head about the fact that I was going to perform. Right. So I felt comfortable in that way, but that doesn't actually help you too much with stand-up is its own beast. Yeah. It doesn't matter what you've done. It's completely different. It's a completely different thing. So I just remember I went up there, and it was at some mic in some basement, like on 14th Street or whatever, in some wine cellar. It wasn't even really a wine cellar. It was like a douchey, like, I want to be a wine cellar basement. It like looked like one, but there was just no wine. It was like a trick door on one side. I don't know what the fuck was going on there, but it was just like all these little dudes in flannel just huddled around the stage, like one of those. And a guy with no arms started talking to me. And
he just double.
Well, he had I don't know what that condition's called, but this guy's name is Chris Crespo, and he was a stand-up comic. I don't think he does it anymore, but he was pretty good.
I was about to say that name sounds familiar, but it could just be that's a nice name.
Yeah, it just sounds like a good stage name. Yeah, yeah, he's just funny, but he just he had no arms. What do you want me to say?
Just double stubbed up.
and he's like, hey, so it's your first time, right? And I'm just like, yeah, and he's like, all right, you're gonna do good. I mean,
he gave you a thumbs
up. That was his dick.
Dude, what if that was his thing? He was like, I need a dick.
Yeah.
Wow.
And all I remember was the hot lights. I just like yammered out whatever the hell I thought was funny, and it wasn't. I tried to do crowd work like an idiot, and failed miserably. And then
do you remember what crowd work you did?
I did an act out.
Do you remember what crowd work you did? You were like,
oh yeah,
you guys dating?
No, it was it's a mic, right? So the guy before me was this guy that is kind of like in the open mic scene. People know him, right? And he does a lot of blue material. Mm-hmm. So he did a rape joke. I remember the rape joke because he was doing it on purpose, like because I think he was mad about his set. So he goes, all right, guys, one last thing, I never thought of it until now, but like, the other day I saw a lady and her thong and fat tits, and it's the first time I ever understood rape. Thanks. And then he left.
Dude, that's such a terrible rape joke.
Whatever.
I'm not gonna say it, but you have one of the best rape jokes I've heard.
Oh, thank you so much.
Very funny.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm diving into edgier stuff. Hell yeah.
Dude, and that's the thing, lastly on it, is like if you're gonna do that kind of material, it has to be good. Like that's just a dumb one what he did. Man, let me just like put out just premises almost to just like,
Yeah. You have to wait till the good good one comes.
Yeah.
And you're like, I've got to say this for humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you followed him and were like, let me riff on that.
Yeah, exactly. That's I guess I had the right instinct, but the wrong.
Dude.
But I was just so terrible at stand-up. So I even forgot what I said, actually. I just kind of went, rape and that's crazy. You look like a Italian dumbass. Anyway, so, but it didn't even sound that cool, it was just like, and everybody just kind of went blink, and I'm like, all right, anyway, moving on, and I tell my joke now.
Was it just comics, or was it actually an audience too?
Just comics. I mean, have you done stand-up in New York City?
No.
Oh boy.
It's the mythical creature that I would love to experience and be hurt by.
Yeah, I could tell just by that question, the fact that you asked if there was audience, because the answer there is always no.
Really? Always in New York?
Yeah.
What about these legendary, we can get into the New York scene, but you hear about these people able to do like 9-10 sets a night, like these crazy runs of doing sets. And maybe that's more established comics that are like, I can just hit spots all over town in front of audiences.
Well, I mean, I was kind of doing that before the pandemic.
Right.
9-10 is...
It's a lot.
That's a little much. That's a hard one. But I was definitely doing I could do up to 6 a night at some point.
That's amazing.
Yeah, but it's also, you're having a heart attack the whole time because they're scattered around the city.
All over.
You're scattered around the city. The subway system sucks. You're planning it, you're staggering all the shows so that you can, hop on here and then run over here, right? And obviously, that kind of stuff doesn't always work out.
Yeah.
So if you're behind by 5 minutes, that turns into 30, and now you're trying to get to the next show. So a lot of the time, doing those 6 to 7 sets a night was me furious on a bus.
Yeah.
Just glaring at a homeless lady across from me. Just, there's fucking eye twitching, and she's like, "Oh my God," and I'm like, "Yeah, just gotta get there," And then sometimes I would have to just leave the bus and speed walk a mile just to get to a spot. So it wasn't really fun. The only part of it that was fun was just being able to get on stage that much, and that is pretty good for certain aspects of stand-up, but not all. Yeah.
What aspects do you think it holds back in?
It kind of depends on what you're working on. I think it's all relative to where you're at. So, if you get into the swing of stand up, right, in a more, let's say professional, right, but more of mapping to what a professional comic's life yearly would be, right? Every year you're aiming for maybe taping an album, right? Releasing some certain amount of time that you feel is ready, or some project, right? So then the whole year you guys spend working towards that. But at some point, you have to sit back and think about what you're even going to do. So if you're running around doing mics or shows...
So you're too in the trenches almost.
Well, there's no room for the sort of more internal creative process. You gotta take time off for that. You have to. You can't think. You can't be really attuned to yourself, I don't think. Some people can. I'm not going to speak to everybody. Let's put it that way. Because I think everybody's obviously different. So, but if you're, let's say, like me, I'm a little more introverted. I get, being around people is draining. And then eventually I just kind of just go with
Disappear.
And so, and then if I don't have time to really think and reflect or whatever the hell, come up or have a direction, I'll quickly, a lot of comics fall into this thing where you start letting the audience kind of pull you around. Then you'll notice that they're doing that because then the jokes that they start telling start getting a little more basic. Because you're really, now you're just going to the audience for the reaction, right? But you're not coming to them with anything that you organically came up with. You're not presenting them with anything new or fresh or anything fresh out of your head. So some people I think can thrive and do all the shows and then be able to still be that, but I'm not one of them, right? So it's let's say, so this whole year, right, you would need some time. Doug Stanhope, I know, talked about in one of his books or in an interview where he has an RV. He just locks himself in the RV for a week and doesn't talk to anybody, right? Until he comes up with the direction or whatever it is that he comes up with to guide him through to the time that he's gonna record. Right? So then once you have that and then you have that kind of fleshed out, that's when I think the grind can start. Right?
Because you have a goal in mind. And you're this is what I'm working towards.
Because then you have something to guide you. Right? And not to mention the fact that there's also a lot of administrative work that goes into this for yourself. It's a business, right? So you got to spend time on that. So it's learning how to be functional in a way that's fucking stupid, It's your goal is this dumb thing, recording yourself yammering about something, and you gotta push through that and have the faith that it's gonna pay off in the end.
No, it is a crazy thing. Is that why, and I feel like I heard you mention something about this before. I don't know if it was at a show, so it could have been complete bullshit. But you just had to get out of New York. Did you feel maybe a new scene or a new area as a new perspective and to kind of like keep things fresh?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
You said it. But also I think it's just that I grew up in New York.
Right.
And I don't know, man. Like, you got family over there.
Yeah.
Like you see the Puerto Ricans that just stay there.
Yeah.
And then they just become New York.
Yeah.
And they start going, New York.
It's all their life.
Fucking good. This is where you get the best falafel, son. Yo, most bon deep, son. Right? It's like, you don't even know what they are anymore. They start sounding Albanian a little bit, right? Everybody just gets into this, like, mesh of New Yorker.
It's like in Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't know if you've seen the one where they become the ship and they start just turning into the ship.
Oh, that's
like,
perfect.
That's exactly what they start turning into. They're like, dude, you're part of the sidewalk here. You're turning into a pigeon.
That's a great metaphor for that. That's lovely. That's exactly it. And so I'm afraid of that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to leave.
It's the same thing in California too. Is there someone that like they just turn into California where they're just like sand on their feet all the time and they're just like, yeah, everything's chill, you know?
I always can tell if somebody in a show is one of those Californians because they don't even say California the right way. They go, California. Yeah. Like they start sounding like that.
There's like a little kombucha on it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I think it's great. I really like what's happening in Austin. Like the fact that there is a weird fusion of people all over who kind of just wanted something new. And it's like, it's exciting right now in Austin. It feels like a whole new thing is being built.
Yeah, I definitely feel that way also.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard from, so I've heard that Austin's kind of like the new Chicago. Yeah. And it has like that. I mean, I'm sure that Chicago is still a really good town for comedy. Mm-hmm. I think when people say that, they probably mean like, it's like the vibe here is a little more effervescent. Like you can feel a little bit like, and I think it's the anticipation of certain people's projects and clubs that people want to see open and all that stuff. But that's enough, I think, to make people excited to be here. Like something's going to happen, you know? And then that attracts talent and then it just kind of builds from there. Yeah.
What do you think about the scene in comparison to like New York scene? I've always thought New York has like the greatest writers, like specifically joke writers is like the best. What do you think? What do you think about the scenes? This isn't like a confrontational question.
I don't know. Maybe not from you, but depending on what
people get fiery about it, but I'm like, I don't really care. Like, you know.
I mean, I don't. Well, the thing is I get the sense that this scene in Austin isn't even what it was before.
Oh, it's not.
Right? It's
I run into some of those shifty characters every now and then.
From the old Austin scene. What's
they're like lurking around, just angry.
They hate everybody.
They're kicking stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely be getting a little angry. Yeah. Recently, I won't say how recent because someone could decipher this. Yeah. But in the recent history, I ran into one who was just pissed and like...
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, if you get pissed about competition and like new things happening, you're too set in your ways where you're just like, no, this is all mine. It's like, you don't have the right mindset.
Yeah. Well, that's how it is. You know, it's people. Yeah, it's competition is scary.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to feel like you're awesome when there isn't any.
Yeah.
It doesn't take. It's like going to community college and being good at math. You know, everybody's like, you're fucking Einstein, bro. Right? And then you go to like an Ivy League school and you're just like,
It's the worst feeling, but it's like good for you because you're like, it's gonna make you better in the long run. I started in a smaller scene in like Ventura, California. It was and there was a few like people at the top who just had a stranglehold on the scene. And it was real shitty to navigate because there was like toxic people where they literally were like gatekeepers. Like they were like, it was still the 90s. And I'm like, how are you surviving, right now doing this to everybody?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was just like miserable. And they're still there, they're still just lurking. But
oh, they're also lurking. So maybe those are the same people then, and they can't be gatekeepers anymore.
I think that's what it is. It's just like you grow a certain point. If you try to control it, it goes bad.
Yeah. They're not keeping gates anymore.
Dude, the gates are down.
Yeah.
And blasted open.
They're just keeping their sour pusses in their fucking hands.
Yeah. Did you experience any of that in New York?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's going to be some level of gatekeeping no matter what. Yeah. As far as, well, to answer your earlier question.
You're so good at circling back and answering questions.
Oh, thank you. I took Adderall recently. Maybe that helps. Recreationally, of course.
Yeah. Those fucking nerds taking it for life.
For health. You're doing it wrong. New York is for sure, I can see why people would say that they have good joke writers. One is because it's a good place to go to eventually get into a writing room job.
Right.
So it already attracts people who are probably naturally good writers.
Yeah.
But then in addition to that, you are just so spoiled, but with so much talent there that it's mind blowing. I almost wish that more people here could feel that, when you're just immersed and surrounded by drop-ins like Dave Attell and Jeff Ross and like these people, just Aaron Berg and Pat Dixon, like all these, they're like New York names, you know, but they're just so phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's like everybody laughs when they get there, even the comic. Everybody's just, it's like gut busting. You get, and you're just like, oh my God, this is brilliant, and, and there's jokes that like you will remember for forever,
Yeah.
And they're just so good. And it's another reason why I think people get so good there, because you're just rubbing shoulders with the best, and it's amazing. And it's just like, you just feel really honored, I guess, to be, I swear, because it's just so like, you are so goddamn good. I am a piece of shit, you know, so like I gotta work hard. And I think, like here, you get a little bit less of that, because those headliners come by, but then they go back to New York, right? Like TJ Miller will come here, go back to New York. I used to host in shows where TJ Miller would show up to headline like every night. Yeah. So I got to watch him every night headline, and it's like, whoa,
That's like where you learn, is like being around it on an everyday period. Yeah. It does feel like here it hasn't established with headliners here yet that are just constantly in and out. I feel like when Rogan's Club opens, there'll be a few people that are always going to be around, but it does feel fractured where like they come to town for the weekend and then they're gone. So you can kind of just live during the week being like, I'm not too bad.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't need, that's bad for you.
Yeah,
you got to feel like a piece of garbage more, right? So that it's not like, it's not bad, because ultimately it's like now you suddenly see like where you could be, know? And it's, I think so much of stand-up is not even knowing where the fuck you're going half the time, and not having this clear picture. And it's just like every night you're getting up, right? You're working on your jokes. But it's like, where do I go? Like, what am I reaching for? Skill wise, I guess. Yeah. Right. And in New York, you're like there. You know? And so that would be maybe the one thing that Austin's missing. Yeah. Is a little bit more of that, like you say, because I think everybody would just benefit from it.
Yeah, 1000%, because it feels like a little bit right now like the inmates are running the asylum, where there's like a ton of like a certain level of comics producing all the shows and everything, and there's no headliners to kind of guide the way completely.
Yeah, and I see that. I can see it, because there's things that people get away with here that nobody would put up with in New York.
Really?
Yeah, like the fact that nobody hosts their shows. They do pass the mic here, or whatever they call that. Listen, I don't bitch about a lot of things, because I'm like, do whatever you want, right? Yeah. Stand-up is ultimately silly. It's a silly thing to do, and it's retarded. It's like, go watch it, it's fun, have a good time. But that is the one kind of pet peeve of mine, where I see that people who don't believe in hosting, that's like, in New York, you have to host if you ever want to be on a show. Yeah. That's like your... hosting shows is how you get into shows. Yeah. And when people see that you're a good host, you're good on stage, you're friendly and whatever the hell, right? Then eventually you can do spots, maybe.
Is it the same kind of hosting where you're producing the show, or is someone bringing you on as just the host?
Both. But often it's probably smartest to have somebody host for you. Okay. Because if you're producing and hosting, you're just going to be really stressed for no reason. Yeah. From what I've seen. Okay. Yeah. So it's like, get a host, pay, give him $20. Yeah. One nice, friendly guy who's like the human personification of a golden retriever or something, can change a whole show.
It's a great description of who it should be.
Yeah. It's just like a nice, friendly, good good on stage guy or girl, right? And just, that's all it takes.
Yeah. It is crazy, like, when you break down the science of shows, like, because I always love seeing lineups, and I'm like, why would they put that person there and everything, like, different energies and everything. Mm-hmm. But then when you see a host go up there and do the opposite of what they're supposed to do, and then just, like, bring the energy completely down and not pass on the next person, they're like, here, let me just open this grenade, now I'm going to bring up the next comic to deal with this.
Yeah, grenade would be a good show stopper. Who's the worst host you've ever seen?
Dude. The worst experience I had was being on a show where the host would go up and do probably like 7 to 8 minutes in between everybody. It was brutal. And then at the end of it, they sat on the stool and did about 30 to 40 minutes of material and just held everybody hostage. It was ironically in like a basement of a wine cellar. Like you went through a weird door. I should have never went in.
I think that's probably just where all the bad things happen.
Yeah, it's always in basements. So like I can get away with anything down
bad
here.
Open mics, shitty hosts, child pornography.
Yeah.
The three.
And my pet peeve is I hate what else. Oh
yeah, what do you guys want to talk about?
Yeah.
What do you guys
What else do I have for you guys? And that host that night kept doing that like every 4 or 5 minutes. Be like, maybe the next comic. That's what else,
Garbage.
Yeah. What about you?
Worst guy was the guy who ran this show at a hostel in New York City in the Upper West Side. And he would come up, he was this eccentric New Yorker guy. He'd been in New York for years and years and years, right? And he just cornered the market at this little hostel, right? People wouldn't even go anywhere near that cafeteria just because they knew he was going to be there. It would be desolate. There would be like 3 people with laptops who didn't know what the hell was going on. And then he would just kind of be like, all right, there's a show, right? He's like,
dude, pop
chairs
chairs are the tightest.
Yeah, you'd show up, remember Randy, yeah, and then he'd have
He said his name. Randy.
Yeah, Randy.
Who the fuck you are, Randy?
No, I like that guy, but he was just so like he would show up, right? All of his jokes he would write before the show and rip like in a notebook. He'd rip all of the jokes into pieces, like into little joke pieces, right? Mm-hmm. Instead of getting flashcards, by the way, which are there in life, right?
Yeah.
And then he would have a stack of them. And between every set, he would read them just one by one.
Just read his jokes
Read a stack of jokes. And most of them bombed.
Were they like popsicle jokes or like actual bits he just...
Both. What do you mean by popsicle jokes?
Like there was almost one-liners that he would read off for the crowd, or was he actually doing...
Yeah, it was both.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was just, I don't like that, and he'd just throw it. and he'd be like, and my wife, no? I don't like that. And he would do that to the point where like it wasn't cute anymore, and it would just all just kind of be like, all right, that's all right. Okay, I don't think I'm next. And then the next comic would go on stage, just littered with paper, jokes, and you do your set, you get off, he does it again.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's what's crazy about those kind of shows. I mean, it doesn't take much to have a comedy show. Like you can just do whatever you want in anywhere. Like there's shows in convenience stores and on corners. Like people are doing it anywhere, and you could do whatever you want as a host just because it's your show.
Yeah, I mean maybe that's why people here don't like hosts or whatever. But there are good ones. People. It
does really affect the show because I know what you're talking about. I've seen it too, and almost been like, all right, we're just shotgunning. Like, okay, this is.
That's what you call it, right? Shotgunning.
Yeah,
that's what it is. Yeah, so we call it pass the mic.
Girl, we call it being a bitch.
Yeah, it's like you're passing the mic over, and I just think it's just awful. No, but like you don't even half the time. Everybody who has to bring up the next person doesn't remember the other person's last name. There's too many Jewish /Latino /German /Iranian /Indian last names in this business,
Yeah.
So you're not going to be able to know how to pronounce all of them.
Yeah.
Unless you're Russell Peters, maybe.
Yeah.
Because he seems like a worldly gentleman. But half the time you're fucking up the Jewish names, and then you don't know how to say and then you bring them up and you giggle. You know, that they, sorry, bro. Right?
Yeah.
The next guy's like,
keep it going, guys.
Yeah, this fucking asshole, right? And then he fucks up the next guy's name. He does the same thing over again. It's just like, okay.
Yeah, it's a strange move. Being like bumping elbows with some of these like the greatest comics of all time. Have you received any like advice that really was like sage where you're just like, okay, I'm gonna remember this for the rest of my life?
No.
No. No. Dude, that's gonna be the clip for this. No.
They don't need to talk.
Yeah.
All you gotta do is watch them and be like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And that's all you ever need to do. One guy gave me good advice one time. He was just like, you gotta build if you want to build stage presence or whatever, he's like, don't do your jokes, talk about your day, which was pretty good advice. And that's just the way I think to just get more natural on stage.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it.
Are you someone who like sits down and write and put a timer or just like anything, or are you like in your head, you Jay-Z it, like keep it all up there, or do you actually pen and pad it?
No, I put it down. I mean, I don't, I don't Jay-Z it.
Yeah.
No, I want to get better.
Yeah.
I'm not cool. I'm a person who wants to get better at stand-up. So, I do whatever I think I need to do. I think about it. Sometimes it's better to be a little bit in your head and not too much on the page. I mean, but yeah, I write it out and try to work through it.
Do you have a set schedule, or is it just when you want to write?
I try to do a little bit of writing every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And kind of work through. I got, because I have a lot of premises that I want to get through and perform, but it takes a long time. What about you?
I try to every morning like set a timer and do like 30 minutes of like writing and going over jokes and everything. And I use an app. I'm like super new age technology, where it's connected on my phone, my laptop, and the desktop, so I can like continue jokes from like right on my phone. Like it all updates.
Wait, are you talking about notes?
No, like I have everything written in jokes in.
You could just use notes though, right? What do you have?
It's called Microsoft OneNote. What's actually really cool is you just find out I'm sponsored by them right now. It separates everything for you with like different.
I'm not gonna do that. That's too much.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
That's
and then it's like things are there. But
you got a rainbow flag of premises over there.
Yeah,
it's all color coded. Yeah.
You
just go to the Pride Parade, just wave your app around. Be like, hey, what's up?
When they try to cancel me, they're like,
you guys want to hear a joke?
Yeah, look at my fucking app. You want to cancel me? Go to my gay joke section. Be like, look at this one. I've been supporting you guys since 2017.
Damn, you are super organized. Can I see that again?
Yeah. This is because I actually am so it's got observational jokes, and then if I have like jokes about me, I have it like here, and everything's just like written out.
Are you a type A personality?
I don't think so.
You get very organized.
The thing is what's insane is I'm naturally not. So I was homeschooled very loosely, where it was no one really schooled me. I kind of just hung out at home.
That's great.
So I wouldn't do any schoolwork. I just wake up in the morning and like just plan my day. I'm like, I'm gonna go hang out in the backyard and like throw dirt clods and play with my pigeons.
Wait, but why did that happen? Did you get left in a log cabin or something in the woods?
Pretty much. So I'm the youngest of 4, and we had another one living with us. So we like picked up a stray. So there's 5 of us. And
I think explain that at all, right?
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
And we just found them.
Yeah. And that's very Puerto Rican, by the way.
Yeah.
My grandmother would do the same thing.
Yeah.
There would just be a kid on the street, and she'd be like, "Hey, kid, you want a job?
Yeah, join in.
You want some food?"
Yeah. And we grew up poor, and they were like, I guess they were just like, nah, we'll just do that whole saving money thing by keeping y'all at home. And then I think they were just busy because I didn't really get schooled at all. Like I didn't start doing schoolwork until like 3rd, 4th grade. But then like after that, I like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, I didn't really do too much actual schoolwork. Like it was like I had all the teacher's editions, so I'd fill out everything on my own. And then with that, I like when it came time, like, dude, my fiance's a saint having to deal with me and like bring me back into society of like, you need to like close the cabinets after.
1 + 1 is 2.
We started with the basics.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of songs, and like now it's time to pick up and put away.
Yeah, okay, listen. Look, I went to an inner city school in the Bronx, and I had to go to community college and do exactly that. So,
really?
Yeah, it kind of doesn't matter. You didn't miss anything.
I caught up pretty fast,
fights. That's all.
Yeah. So, like, by the time I became an adult, like, my brain still works that if I don't keep everything, like, really disciplined, I'm completely everywhere. So it's like I have to do that if I want to be a normal human being.
Yeah, I relate to that on some level. Yeah. But for me, it's just kind of my routine is more important than, like, specific ways of organizing certain things. Yeah. I just need to stick to almost superstitiously, like, get up, wash your face.
Really?
Burn your hand. Yeah. It just helps. Because I get very scatterbrained if I don't do that.
I just realized I do something similar where I have, like, I drink 10, like, gulps of water. Like, when I wake up, I know water's good for you.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't believe it either.
Dude.
My boyfriend actually forces me to drink water. He's like, you have to. And I'm like, I don't feel thirsty. He's like, do it.
You're powered by the coven.
Yeah, exactly.
So do you have, like, a workout schedule? I know you guys are really into fitness and are always hitting the gym. Do you have, like, your whole day planned where you're just like, I need to stick? Like, when you say superstitiously.
You didn't frame that accurately at all. We're not, like, really into fitness.
You have one fitness joke.
We are not.
That's also a rape joke.
This is not
so
my
I
whole
figured it was
personality.
in fitness. So you guys are, like, in the CrossFit, right? You guys are sponsored.
No. Yeah. Tony Hawk actually.
Yeah. So you're superstitiously a routine person.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that bad, I guess, but I do want to stick to it. I just have to because I'm just scatterbrained. That's it.
Yeah.
And so the only way to kind of keep that under wraps is to have certain things that I do that I make sure I do every day, like certain goals that I hit, because otherwise I'll just kind of drift and not do much.
Yeah.
And I just fucking roll out of bed and do a mic or something. You know what I mean? So it's like I gotta get more stuff done during the day.
So is it like by the time, or do you just have a list and you're like, I gotta check these off by the end of the day, or is it in order?
Well, I try to prioritize them, right? And then I'm like, okay, I gotta get at least this stuff done by this time. And then go to the gym.
Yeah.
Something like that, yeah. And the gym's just one of those priorities because it's like, you know, I'm not 16 and I don't want to become a sloppy hoe. Yeah. So I don't want to die that before I have to. So, you know, I just want to work out and try to be healthy and maintain.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not trying to be a fitness model. Although I wouldn't turn down that money. I don't know, whatever, if anybody's out there thinking about it. But yeah, that's it.
That's awesome. We gotta go do a spot right now, but thank you very much for doing the podcast. I appreciate you. Where can people find you on the internet?
Just find me on Instagram, Melissa Diaz for you, and that will direct you to where you need to go. Everything you need in life. Yeah. You'll find there. Yep. Don't ask any more questions. Just go. You gotta tell everybody about that stray kid. Maybe not this episode, but one of these episodes. Legally, I can't.